WrestleMania 40 just ended, and it's time for me to give you guys my review of both Night 1 and Night 2. This video is going to be super unedited and probably very unorganized. I just finished watching the show, and I just want to give you guys all my thoughts and feelings on the whole show. It's probably going to go down as one of my personal favorite WrestleManias to watch, but obviously wrestling as a whole always depends on the scenario and the situation that you find yourself in while you're watching it. We had a bunch of friends all over, we ordered some food, and we had so much fun watching this show, but now I do want to sit down and really dissect every single match and the show as a whole and what I thought about it. Let's start right away with Night 1. I will say the first night, the biggest disappointment for me was the crowd, but from what I saw through like Twitter and Reddit and just talking to everyone and literally what all the wrestlers during the press conference were talking about in Night 2, apparently it was super cold for them and it made it obviously very difficult for them to get hyped up, which the good news is they got way better on the second night. But wrestling is all about reactions, and I feel like the show probably as a whole for the first night would have been even better if the crowd was able to be more into it, but I can't blame them if it was really that cold. Now, I'm in Canada, and when they're showing the weather, we were all like, yeah, that's normal weather to us, but I'm expecting, or I'm guessing that for where they were in Philly, it was probably extremely cold for them. But now let's talk about each of the matches. I have Wikipedia open here. I'm just going to go through each match at a time and give you guys what I thought about them. First up, we had Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch for the Women's World Championship, and I really liked this match. It was a great way to start up the show. I liked Becky's entrance, but it wasn't like the greatest thing I've ever saw. But Rhea Ripley's live performance was so good. I really liked it. Match showed both of them really well. I feel like they had good chemistry in the ring, and I feel like this isn't the end. I really liked Rhea Ripley winning because that was my prediction, but I feel like Becky did a good job showcasing herself. Lots of cool spots. There was a moment where they had like Rhea and Becky one on top of each other, and they flipped to the outside and stayed like that, which was really cool. The finish with the riptide onto the buckle and then another riptide was really cool. Lots of really good false finishes. I thought it was an excellent way to start the show. Not as good as the Rhea Ripley Charlotte match, but it's also not supposed to be because it's not set in the same spot on the Mania card. Just an excellent, great opener in my opinion. Then we had the six-pack tag team ladder match, and oh man, I had so much fun watching this. This is exactly what I wanted it to be. Just a chaotic train wreck of everyone, just bodies flying all over. And I really had a lot of fun with this. My biggest thing was the ladders just felt so flimsy. You can see everyone using ladders and they felt like they were going to break throughout the whole show. But it was a lot of fun. I was so nervous someone was going to get hurt just because, like I said, the ladders, just the way they were all set up was weird. I really liked that they ended. We didn't really know how they were going to set up the tag team championships because they talked about the belts being separated. But I liked that it was the Raw belts on one side and the SmackDown belts on another. Thought that was a really cool way of doing it. I really liked the way that they had A-Town Down Under win the first title. Not like super early, but much earlier than the Raw belts. I thought they were going to do the tag titles like back-to-back winners, but I like that they won one belt and the match continued for another like 7 or 8 minutes before we had the other championship taken down, and it was a really good way. And I also really liked how they got Austin Theory and Grayson Waller eliminated after they won the championship, so that it was like, okay, they won it and they could have tried to win the second one, but someone took them out, and that's why they didn't. I would have found it really weird if they just won the belt and went to the back, so I like that that's not what they did in this match. R-Truth finally getting his moment, had a good spot there with the hot tag that was really funny, and the crowd really got into it for that moment. But you know, I predicted I really wanted DIY and New Catch Republic to win because I wanted official tag teams to win it, but of course they gave the moment to R-Truth, and I don't hate it. I just feel like it wasn't what I wanted, but it was still a good moment and the crowd really liked it, so can't complain if the crowd was very into it. The third match is a very weird one. Rey Mysterio and Andrade versus Santos Escobar and Dirty Dom. I was going to say Mysterio, but it's Dirty Dom. This match was really weird for so many reasons. They had, in my opinion, a pretty good build-up to get to this match, and they had so many people involved with Legado del Fantasma and LWO and Carlito and Elektra Lopez and Zelina Vega. It was building this in a way that I thought this match should have been like a 4v4 or a 5v5, but at the end, we got a tag match, and that was the first part. I was like, okay, that's weird. But then, we were supposed to have Dragon Lee in the match, and they took him out to get Andrade in, which was another weird one, with no real explanations. I'm hoping at this point that there's a good reason as to why Dragon Lee did not get a WrestleMania moment. I don't hope he's hurt, but I'm kind of hoping that they didn't just take him out for the sake of taking him out. So that was another weird part. And then the match was good. We had a lot of fun. I feel like Santos and Dom and Andrade and Rey all got a good moment in the match. And then it ended with two football players getting involved. And it's so weird because I feel like we'll come to this later. There's another match on WrestleMania that personally felt like they could have had that football moment in that match, because this match didn't need that interference. They had everyone else in on the stage with them, like LWA and Legado del Fantasma, that they could have just done something with all of them instead. So it was a good match right up until that last minute with the also the interference for the baby faces. Just a little weird, but I understand that they wanted to pop the crowd with football. I don't follow football, so I don't know anything. I swear I thought the guy was Taylor Swift's boyfriend until I was told, no, that's the brother of Taylor Swift's brother. I don't know anything. So that was a very weird one, but just thinking about the match itself, it was a good match. I love the double cross body where Andrade put Rey on his shoulders and then they both jumped together. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. Lots of good moments. Andrade was just a star throughout. Santos did really great. And then Rey and Dom, we saw them wrestle last year. Good moment this year as well. Love that they teased the whipping of the belt, but they didn't actually do it. So lots of good moments, but just that last, I'd say, like, was probably 30 to 45 seconds was just a little weird. So still don't know why, and I don't think they teased. There was no reason at all that I can remember why they would have these guys involved in this match. So that was a little bit weird. Next up, we had, in my opinion, the biggest disappointment of the weekend was Jey versus Jimmy Uso. This match should have been so much more, in my opinion. It was only, let me check here, 11 minutes. Yeah, a very short match. And I feel like not only was it just 11 minutes and it was really short, they just didn't click, which is so weird because obviously they're twin brothers and you would expect them to put on a big show. Now, to be honest, I'm seeing people now and like in my Discord and people I talked to outside of my little group who watched it together were saying that this was like one of the worst WrestleMania matches ever. And I would say I've seen a lot of WrestleManias. It's not there. It's not like one of the worst, but it definitely wasn't great. I think that this match should have been so much better and it should have been longer in my opinion. But I don't know if being longer would have helped because that 11 minutes didn't really click. There were too many super kicks. There wasn't enough emotion in it. They really tried to do this one moment near the end where Jimmy tried to apologize and get Jey to get back to like accept his apology and like get back together, whatever. But I feel like that should have been a bit more emotional. I feel like the crowd probably should have been a little bit more into it. Obviously, we talked about the crowd. And I don't know if adding more time would have meant they would have done more of that. So I don't know. I just wish it was more. It wasn't the worst match I've ever seen, but it was definitely my least. It was the worst match of WrestleMania this weekend. But worst WrestleMania match ever? Absolutely not. We've seen so many terrible, terrible matches. It just feels like a 5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10, where I wish it was higher up in score. Then we got the 6-women tag team match between Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Damage Control. And this match was exactly what it needed to be, which was a showcase match for all 6 women. And I really thought that they did a good job. Very short. It says here 8 minutes, and that's kind of how I remember it being. A very short match, but they did a good job getting everyone their moment. I was a little bit worried that this was going to be the Jade match and everyone else wasn't really going to get a moment, but everyone did have a good moment in this match, in my opinion. I really liked the Poison Mist from Asuka. I feel like Dakota Kai really showcased herself. A lot of people that I was with had never seen her wrestle before because she's been injured for a while and was really impressed by her by the end. Kairi did a couple good spots there. Bianca's hair whip was brutal to see. Naomi's entrance and all of that as well, just excellent stuff there. And then, of course, Jade did have her moment. But I liked it. I thought that it was exactly what it needed to be. It wasn't 2 minutes. 8 minutes is a good amount of time. Jade did not show any of her flaws that she has in the ring, which was really good. But everyone else also got to have a moment. So I can't complain. This is definitely one of the shortest or the shortest match of the weekend. But it was just what it needed to be. Just a small showcase match for all of these guys. Then we went into probably one of the biggest surprises of the weekend, which was Sami Zayn versus Gunther. Great match. That's not the surprise. I think every single one of us expected this to be a great match. Sammy's whole intro with him out in the back talking to his wife and his son, to seeing Chad Gable, to his moment with Kevin Owens, and the one shot throughout it all was perfect. It was just what it needed to be to really make us believe in Sami Zayn in that moment. And then we went into the match, and these two just had, in my opinion, one of the best matches of the weekend. And probably, I was going to say my favorite match of night one, but not yet. But it was definitely up there as one of the best matches of the weekend. Just 15 minutes of back and forth until Gunther started taking over, and man, Gunther really showed that he is a star with his crowd work and all his moves. Still don't like his splash from the top rope, find it really silly, but I get it, it's a classic thing, and he is the ring general, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, but great match. And then the big surprise was Sami actually getting the win on this one. And look, we shouldn't doubt Sami. We know Triple H absolutely loves him, and he was gonna give him a lot of moments. And I feel like it was time for Gunther to lose the belt. But I really think that a lot of people with the setups was expecting Chad Gable. I find this to be a very exciting and interesting twist, though, because I feel like, and this is just my fantasy booking, what we're going to get now is Gunther needed to lose this, and it makes sense because of what happened throughout the weekend, because we need top heels in the main event. If Roman Reigns disappears for a little while again, we need someone to move up there for Cody, and I feel like Gunther is the perfect person to be in that top main event role as a heel. So I feel like that's why they did it. He's ready. You know, like, I know a lot of people didn't want Gunther to lose, but I felt like he had to lose at some point, but him losing is just the biggest win for him because he now gets to be at the top of the game, which is the main event. When it comes to Sami Zayn, what happens next? I really want Chad to turn heel. I feel like it would be awesome to see Chad Gable become the heel, a jealous, aggressive version of him, and maybe let him go on like a Kurt Angle style run where he's just super aggressive, like breaking everyone's ankles with the ankle lock, doing suplex city on everybody. Just make him this angry heel. He can power through Tozawa, he can go through Otis, and then he can finally go against Sami Zayn. And then we get Chad as the champion, but just in a completely different direction. I feel like it's going to be a good way to get it for Chad, because I don't remember Chad being a heel ever. Maybe he was for a little short amount of time, but I don't remember it recently. So I think that would be a very exciting moment. I feel like Sami Zayn got his big moment, and now it's his way to put someone over next, which I'm hoping is Chad Gable. Excellent match, lots of opportunities of what to do in the future with it, so very excited for this. And then we got the night one main event, which was the Bloodline, The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins for 45 minutes. And I will say this match was two stories. The first half was fine. I think that a lot of people were a little bit worried as to how The Rock was going to be in the ring. And if anything, I think he did fantastic. I am so excited to see more of The Rock in the ring. I thought he did a great job on night one. I really hope this is not the end and that we get so much more out of him, because he showed that he still got it. And honestly, his cardio was really good. He was not drenched in sweat. I don't know if it was cold or anything, but 45 minutes, a very long time. And I wouldn't say that The Rock didn't do much, because he did a lot in this match. He took so many bumps. He sold his ass off. His punches and kicks were the same that what they looked like before, with like the way he does his punch and stomps his foot. If you guys have seen The Rock wrestle before, he was doing it today. It was just great. And I'm so happy that The Rock really kept up with everyone else, because we know Roman, Cody, and Seth are just some of the best in the ring currently in the WWE. And I'm happy to see that The Rock was able to keep up. But yes, the first half of this match was a little bit slower. The crowd were not too into it. Again, I get it, but it really had to pick up. But I would say, guys, that second half was just beautiful. I had so much fun watching it. It's not like the best match ever, in my opinion, but it was so entertaining. And I think it's one of the longest matches ever, if I remember correctly. 44 minutes and 35 seconds, what they say here. So yeah, about 45 minutes in total. It was great. And it was the ending we needed, which was Cody and Seth had to lose this match to really set up that night 2 main event, and I feel like it did a great job. The spear to the Rock and the selling from the Rock was excellent. Cody's cutters that he hit on everybody was great. Seth was so good throughout the whole night. Everyone really put on a great show, and this was an excellent match, and it set up in what I think was a beautiful night 2 that we're just about to talk about. But now that's the end of night 1. And I would say at the end of night 1, I was really happy. I felt like we had a great night of wrestling, but I was a little bit down, and I'll explain myself. Going into WrestleMania, I thought night 1 was going to be the better night because a lot of the matches I was excited for were on this show. Rhea and Becky, the ladder match, the Jimmy and Jay before was one of the matches I was most excited for, the Sami Zayn Gunther, and the Bloodline. So 5 of the 7 matches on night 1 were the ones I was most excited for, and we ended up with 4 great matches. The Rhea Becky was great, the ladder match was great, Sami and Gunther was excellent, and the Bloodline match was good. So these 4 really, really were top tier in my opinion. I would say the Rey Mysterio, Andrade, and Santos Escobar match was a good match. I think the Jade Cargill match was a good match, and I feel like the Jimmy and Jay was disappointment. But at the end of it all, I really liked night 1. I still think I preferred night 1 of WrestleMania 39 over 40, but I still enjoyed it. And then going into night 2, which had some really exciting matches, but I felt like I wasn't as excited for, I was wrong. Night 2, I'm a little bit of a spoiler, was probably one of the best wrestling nights I've had watching. My friend group had so much fun. We're going to go through the whole card, but beginning to end, this was perfectly paced. No downtime. It just kept going on, and the crowd was hot, and every single match delivered in my opinion. So let's get into it. We started off with Drew McIntyre versus Seth freaking Rollins for the title. This was a spotlight, a finisher fest. It was just finisher after finisher after finisher, and I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of that style of just like curb stomp, Claymore, but for this one it worked because this is the 4th time these two have wrestled one another, and we've seen them do everything else before, and so I was okay with it. I also love that the fact that Seth was going in already tired, so it made sense for Drew to just try and go for the finish as quickly as possible. He didn't need to take him down or hurt him more. He just went through 45 minutes of a match, and he lost by the end, also getting speared through the barricade and everything. So it made sense in the grand scheme of things to have it be that kind of match, and it was still a fun one. Lots of kickouts and everything as well. At the end of it all, we got Drew finally winning, and when Drew won, I was so excited. And then we saw that one scene of Seth outside looking at him, and he told him, "You fucking deserve this." And I was like, heartbroken for Seth. I realized how terrible of a weekend it is for him. And Seth being one of my personal favorites, I'm excited to see what they do. But man, what a rough weekend for him. And emotionally, it hit me that I was like, he just went through and he made everyone look good in that tag match. He put everything in there, and then he put over Drew McIntyre, which I was like, God, I love Seth so much, and he is the perfect example, in my opinion, of wins and losses do not matter, because going into Monday Night Raw tonight, and even when I talk to a lot of my friends who are casual fans, who this weekend was one of their first times ever watching wrestling, Seth stood out for them, and they are so excited to see what happens with Seth. So wins and losses do not matter in wrestling, and Seth is the perfect example as to why. Drew had his great celebration, good emotional moment with his wife and family. Oh, he also sent a text during the match, which was so good as well. Then he had his moment with CM Punk, which I thought was excellent, setting up that. And then we had the cash-in, which was beautiful. Damian Priest won with a magnificent chokeslam. If you guys can, go look up that beautiful chokeslam from Damian Priest onto Drew. Drew jumped so freaking high. It was awesome. What a moment. What a way to start night 2. We had it all. Normally, these kinds of cash-ins and this type of moments, I feel like it's all about the cash-in and the person winning the belt, and they move on. And you kind of forget everything else. But this is an example of what I feel like is what they keep saying, the new era, right? A lot of people, they kept talking about the new era of wrestling is happening this weekend. And I feel like this cash-in is a good example of that, where everything works and everything fit and everyone got to shine out of this. Seth had his moment. Drew got his moment. CM Punk got his moment. And then Damian Priest got the moment. It felt like the cash-in told so many stories all in one, instead of it just being Seth gets pinned, Damian Priest immediately cashes in, and we forget everything else that happened around it. This is going to build on so many ways, and I cannot wait to see where they go with this. I just kind of hope that Damian Priest doesn't just lose the belt tomorrow, or yeah, on Raw. It just feels like he has to hold it just a little bit longer. But man, this was a perfect way to get the whole crowd hyped and our group super into it. Then we went into the street fight, the Philly street fight between the Pride, which is Bobby Lashley, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford, versus the Final Testament, which is Karrion Kross, Akam, and Razar. I hope I said that right. This is a match that those Philadelphia football guys should have been involved in this one, because they already had Snoop Dogg and Bubba Ray Dudley for some reason involved in this one. If you want to get a lot of people involved, just get those other guys, and it would have made sense. Just come in there, tackle, like, you know, Angelo Dawkins has this whole like tackling gimmick as well, where he does that. Just get them involved in this match. That was the one. This is a match I could not care less for, but I will say getting Snoop Dogg on commentary helped a lot, and I feel like they did what they had to do. It was an 8-minute match, very short, and they just destroyed each other, which I was like, okay, fine. This was the ladder matches, like night 1 had the ladder match, night 2 had this match of just like the car wreck, just like beat each other up and let's put on a bit of a small show. So I was okay with it by the end. The story, again, I wasn't invested into it, but it was a fun match. I liked the table spot, the table breaking ahead, of course it did, but you know, it worked out in the end. It was short, it was sweet, they did a good job, they put over the match, and the Pride won, which I'm happy with. Then we went into the next match, which was LA Knight and AJ Styles. I talked about this in my predictions, that I felt like the story of this match was really good going into WrestleMania, but I felt like I wasn't excited because I felt like AJ Styles doesn't have like the best matches in WrestleMania, like in his record, and then LA Knight doesn't impress me in the ring. And this match, I still don't know exactly how I feel about it. It was way better than I expected. The crowd was super into LA Knight. They had good chemistry, honestly. I'd like to see them wrestle more, and they put on a good match. My problem is LA Knight disappointed me in this match more than impressed me. Even though it was a good match, LA Knight did not sell anything, and I hated that. AJ Styles spent the whole match working LA Knight's leg. He got him into the buckle. He did that submission that he did. I always forget, the calf crusher, I think it's called, where he like holds the leg and pulls it on it. He smacked the leg into the post. He did all these things, and not once did LA Knight ever like limp or like stumble, or he was just fine. As soon as he was back on top and in the lead, he was running the ropes, springboarding, jumping to the top of the nothing like he just like pretended that all of what AJ did nothing to him. And I really, as a wrestling fan, as like that side of the storytelling really bothered me a lot, especially because the next match, a couple matches later with Bayley and Io Sky, which we'll talk about soon, but Bayley did the same thing or Io did the same thing to Bayley, working the leg, and Bayley did an excellent job of selling it throughout, where she was, you know, jumping on one foot and everything. I still don't get the LA Knight hype, so I'm still pretty disappointed, and I did not like that, but it was a lot better than I expected. I really thought that this was going to be like very boring match, which it wasn't. It was a good match. I'd say even a great match for most people, but for me, it can't go up to the great because LA Knight just did not do a good job with his selling, in my opinion. Then we had one of my favorite matches of the weekend, which was Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. Sorry, in a triple threat for the United States Championship. This was so fun. All three of them worked really well together. Love the interactions between Kevin Owens and Randy. The whole picking him up during the entrances. We didn't even talk about anyone's entrances. By the way, super quick, I loved almost every single entrance we saw this weekend. I can't believe I didn't talk about it. Obviously, WrestleMania is all about the performances, but everyone's entrance was really good. I loved Kevin just picking up Randy and driving him down to the ring. That was really cool. Logan Paul being a little turd with his prime car. Everything about that was good. But now, back to this match. Really fun match, I think. The good back and forth. Logan Paul, again, impressed in the ring. He's so good at this. The RKO out of nowhere was awesome. The The hand thing that Logan Paul used was awesome. They did a good story with that too. So yeah, overall, just a good match. Ending was exactly what I expected. Aisho's speed was there for whatever fucking reason. He took a good RKO on the table that didn't break, so there you go. But I'm not like the biggest speed guy, so that wasn't like, oh, I can't, so excited he was there, but whatever. He was there. Someone should have told him to not swear as much. He was kind of annoying in that sense. But outside of that, it was a fun little match. Went on a bit longer than I expected too. It says it was 17 minutes, so almost 20 minutes. Yeah, it was a good match. Then we went into our final two matches. The first one was Bayley and Io Sky. I was excited for this match going in because I felt like there was a good story. But I think this match over-delivered even with my excitement. So good. I really love how they made Io Sky look great in this match, and Bayley looked awesome. I also love that Damage Control came out with Io Sky for the entrance, but she went into this match completely alone. As a heel, you expect the heels to try to do everything they can to cheat to win, but Io Sky just went out there and showed everyone that she's just badass in the ring and doesn't need anything else. She still lost, and we still got our Bayley moment, but Io Sky looked awesome in this match. I feel like it did a good job for this. I don't know what the future holds for Damage Control because they all lost this weekend, but I really like that Io Sky just looked awesome even though she lost in this match. She didn't cheat. She stuck to her guns. A lot of good moments when she head springboard off from the reversal of the finish from Bayley as well. Her moonsault just looks awesome. Her moonsault to the outside was great. Lots of good moments throughout. And Bayley did a great job of selling, which LA Knight didn't. And then the Bayley to Bayley with the kick out was great. Awesome. Just great match. I really like this one. It's going to be one that I remember for a while. And then we got into the main event, which was Roman Reigns defending his title against Cody Rhodes. And this match was exactly what I wanted it to be. And in my opinion, it was let me correct myself, the best ending to a WrestleMania forever. And this is for me personally. I know a lot of people are going to talk about so many different ones. Like we had the Daniel Bryan moment. There's a lot of WrestleManias that end great. This one for me is my favorite one ever, and I definitely think it's going to be up there as one of the best WrestleMania endings ever. We've been building for this from WrestleMania 39 all the way to now, and they did the exactly way we wanted it to be. The Avengers moment with everyone coming in, but what I liked, they didn't do it right away. They let Cody and Roman have an incredible match for like 20 minutes. These two are so damn good in the ring together. I hope we see more of Cody and Roman because their chemistry is so great. They just have it, man. This match was so good. Everything. Roman Reigns hitting Cody with the cutter, Cody hitting Roman with the spear, the Superman punch, the table spot. Everything was awesome. And then we had what we all wanted, and they did it great, except for two things that I wish was a bit different. It was still, even with the two things that I didn't like, it was still, in my opinion, just incredible. It was perfect. We had Jimmy come out to help Roman Reigns. Then Jay came out and took him out, which, by the way, Jay spearing Jimmy off the ramp through the table was better than the whole Jimmy and Jay match. Like, that, I don't know why. That moment was so damn cool. And compared to their first night, I wasn't expecting it, but man, what a sick spear it was. Then we had Solo come out and hit the thumb, and then the thumb and the spear together. And who comes out? John Cena, man, comes out and beats the crap out of Solo. And this is where my first pet peeve came in, which is John Cena hitting an AA to Roman Reigns. Personally, I think I talked about this in my prediction, but I have also talked about this a lot on my Twitch stream with everybody. I did not want anybody to touch Roman Reigns. I wanted all of the Avengers to come out, or the WWE Avengers to come out, and take out everyone on the outside and let Cody beat Roman clean. But he literally came in, just AA, and then went outside and continued being Solo, which was really funny. He was just, all right, screw it, he's there. I found that funny, but I didn't feel like it was necessary. Roman could just stay down, and Cena could have just hit Solo and then AA Solo through the table, which transitions right into The Rock coming out, and we get the face-off between The Rock and John Cena. So the two, obviously, very well known for their time in Fast and Furious. Having the little face-off there was incredible. And then Rock hitting the rock bottom to John Cena, getting him out, setting up for the with the belt to beat up Cody, to the Shield music coming out, and my heart stopped for a second because I was like, there's no way they got Jon Moxley or Dean Ambrose for this, did they? And then no, it was Seth Rollins in his Shield gear, which story-wise makes so much sense. I've been following this a while, so this is just perfect. Roman stopping that, and then to hear the gong, and then Undertaker showing up, which is the second one that I found weird, because why Undertaker? Why not Stone Cold Steve Austin? I'm sure there will be a story that'll come out as to why he wasn't there, but this felt like it was clearly supposed to be Stone Cold, and then we just got The Undertaker instead, which is so weird, but still awesome, I think. And then the chokeslam, but I found there's like a little weird thing where Undertaker chokeslammed The Rock, the lights go off, and when the lights come back on, the Undertaker disappeared, but so did The Rock. And my friends and I was like, oh my god, that's how they cut him out of the show for a while. Just have Undertaker and The Rock like disappear for whatever reason, and that way there's a reason why The Rock can go film his movies. But The Rock just showed up outside later in the ring. Sorry, later outside of the ring for no reason. So that was a little funny. Anyways, had that moment. That was it for the Avengers. Back to it. We had the Roman Reigns moment where he was in the ring and there was the belt and the chair, and then Cody was getting up and Seth was getting back up. And Roman did the mistake to finish his story and finally get his revenge on Seth Rollins, hitting him in the same exact way Seth did it to him. Back of the on the back with the chair. Seth selling it exactly the same way as Roman, dropping down to the first rope. What a beautiful moment that they've been preparing us all of this. Everything just made sense. They've been setting this up. Roman, man, even with his loss tonight, just proved that he has been the guy for such a long time for a reason. That was a beautiful moment going into then Cody finally hitting his 3 finishers and getting the pin. And then we get the giant celebration, which had me nervous the whole time that someone's going to turn heel, but nothing happened. It just ended clean, just a celebration. Beautiful ending. This was just incredible. And I think the reason why I would rank this as the greatest WrestleMania ending ever is the Avengers moment, the incredible match before the Avengers moment, but also everyone looked good. I always talk about the Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30 as being one of my favorite moments ever, but that's about Daniel Bryan. Randy Orton and Batista have nothing in all of this. It is all about Daniel Bryan. And I think that this one now is my new favorite ending of a WrestleMania ever, because I feel like the Daniel Bryan hype was bigger than the Cody hype by slightly, but Roman's being involved, The Rock's involvement, Seth's involvement. I feel like this WrestleMania's ending elevated more of everyone, and the story for everyone made more sense, whereas that one was just Daniel Bryan. This is me personally. I'd love to know if there's someone who thinks that there was another WrestleMania that I'm totally forgetting about that had a better ending, but that one to me this is the greatest WrestleMania ending in my opinion. They just did an incredible job. And now looking at WrestleMania as a whole, night 1 and night 2 together, with all the I didn't even talk about all the entrances. Roman Reigns and Cody's entrance were so incredible. Seth's entrance on night 2 before his match was Drew was amazing. Drew's entrance was great. God, it was so good. The stage wasn't as epic as last year, I will say that. I feel like I need time to digest, because like I said, I just finished watching this, so I need a little bit more time to digest where this ranks. I think that night 1, leaving it, I was kind of feeling like this isn't going to be one of my favorite WrestleManias, but night 2 was so great that together it is up there as one of my favorite WrestleManias ever. Was it predictable? Absolutely. I think most of these matches, outside of the Sami and Gunther, most people expected these winners to be who we got at the end. But predictability is not a bad thing when it makes sense and when it's what we wanted. And I think that that's what they got us here, where every single match ended exactly the way it should have ended, with no surprises or no twists that make no sense. Everything makes sense. We got all the moments, and everything is going to just continue on, because we have to not forget, wrestling never ends. So even with all of this, they got to set up what's next for tomorrow, for SmackDown, everything. And I am so excited to continue watching wrestling. I have not been this hyped about wrestling for a long time. I thought that going into WrestleMania, my hype was going to hit a peak. And then with the ending, I was kind of just going to be like, and now it's over, and I was going to be satisfied. And that is the case. I am satisfied, but I'm still feeling that high that I just want to continue watching every single week. And I really hope to God that they're able to keep up this pace, because WWE right now are absolutely killing it, and everything they do has been working for me, and I cannot wait to see more of it. I feel like this is going to be one of my favorite WrestleManias ever. Will it go down as one of the greatest WrestleManias ever? That's a really difficult one. I think night one with the crowd is really going to affect everyone's opinion about this show. But I just feel like night two was just such a perfect night. I would easily say that night two of WrestleMania is a 10 out of 10 show. Night one is like an 8 out of 10, which is not a bad score, but it is just that damn good as well. And if you put this Triple H era, which I'm going to count WrestleMania 39 and 40 as like two of his shows, I cannot wait to see what he does with 41. Because if this is the kind of show we're going to be getting all the time, wrestling is just going to be a part of my life moving forward all the time. I really hope they're able to keep up this pace, because like I said, everything hit. I am so invested in so many wrestlers like I've never been before, and I am absolutely loving this. I hope you guys are just as excited as I am. I'm starting to lose my voice from all the screaming from the show and now recording this video, so I'm going to end it here. But thank you guys for watching. If you got all the way to here, please subscribe. Let me know if you guys want more wrestling content, because like I said, this channel is not wrestling related at all. It's all about gaming. But if you guys like these kind of videos and you want me to just do these every month or every PLE, pay-per-view, whatever, tell me in the comments. Tell me what you thought of the show, if you guys liked it or didn't like it. Give this video a thumbs up, because it helps the YouTube algorithm. And have a good rest of your day. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.